Hi again. How are you all doing? Earlier this afternoon, we spoke with Chancellor Wilson, and now we're going to take a trip all the way across the U.S. to Idaho, well, virtually. But we have here Superintendent Jeff Dillon. He's the superintendent of Wilder Schools. It's a very, very small school district in western Idaho. He's also simultaneously the principal of Wilder Elementary, so he has a lot on his plate. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So for starters, why don't you describe what Wilder is like as a community?
I'll begin with the community is a large community of 1,500 in the southwest part of this great state of Idaho. The median household income for our community is $22,000 to $25,000. So 85% of our students receive free breakfast, free lunch. It's a lot of challenges. It's very rural agricultural setting, very different from the rest of the state of Idaho.
And it has a pretty large Hispanic population, right?
We're running anywhere from 85 to 95% of our students are Hispanic students.
Wow.
Anywhere from 20 to 40% of our students will be English language learners.
Wow. So this might seem like an obvious question, but for us urbanites here, what makes a rural education district different than, say, a suburban one or an urban one, aside from, say, population size?
I haven't been a chance to work in an urban setting. I've mostly been in the rural settings my whole life. This is actually my hometown. I came back 10 years ago to serve here. The uniqueness and the challenges in this rural setting is trying to bridge the equity gap for our students, not just the issue with the diversity and challenges with our demographics, but the location. We're only 45 minutes from the big state of the capital of Idaho, Boise, but we're still pretty rural. And I would say 40 to 50% of our kids have never been 45 miles from Wilder to the capital of the state. So our kids, the inequity here is unique, but yet is similar to a lot of situations in urban settings.
Given how reliant Wilder is on agriculture, how does that inform or shape your role with regards to career readiness or college readiness for preparing kids for life after high school?
Over 10 years ago, when I came here 10 years ago, there was a push to move our children that were graduating out of the community. They wanted the kids to graduate and leave this community and go find a university, another place to live. As I took over as superintendent, my push has really been to create great system here for our students, great education system, so that our kids are prepared to live here and raise families here and connect with the agriculture in a high impacting capability with technology and work at the not the end of a shovel, but actually in the particular leading the companies and the agriculture industry here in this area.
Right, so let's talk about that technology piece, because I know that's been a big push of yours and across the district to really leverage technology as a means of maybe elevating achievement and closing the achievement gap between kids in, say, Boise and kids in Wilder. I'm going to pull up some pictures of students in Wilder. There they are, just working on their iPads.
Yes, we've had to close that technology divide. And we've done that in our district. And then the idea is, well, yeah, with technology now, I just want to replace a textbook. I want to create an opportunity for our students to use the device, this tool, to really open the world in front of them. And we chose to do that in a manner in which we provide a personalized learning environment for all students, K-12, where they're required to master content from day to day, from moment to moment. Which really has transformed our district in a very powerful way. We've empowered our students to learn. And by doing so, we've ended up removing grade levels, as well as providing no more seat time for students to gain credit. And now our students are beginning to explode with the knowledge, consuming knowledge as much as they can, and really begin to apply it with innovation and creativity.
Right. So I think that technology plays a special role in rural districts where, like you said, you don't have access to all the resources that you would in an urban district. I do wonder, though, is there the risk of placing too much of an emphasis on the technology at the expense of those human interactions, the sorts of unique educational experiences you can get from just learning from a teacher?
I believe that's a misconception that we tend to have as adults, is that if we put devices in the hands of our students, they become dependent upon the device and they lose the ability to communicate. They lose the ability to use a piece of paper and a pencil and write. Actually, in our district, we've seen just the opposite. The amount of communication has exploded between students and their work and collaborating. I'm totally blown away at what's been happening with the ability of our students to really use the device as a tool for learning, not the only source of knowledge, and then begin to build upon each other and be creative and be able to work together. So you walk into a classroom today, in any classroom, you're going to see a lot of collaboration with a device sitting next to a student, as well as a piece of paper, a whiteboard, something they're working on. So it's really created a unique environment. But technology has just been the crutch to get us to the point where kids are empowered to learn.
What has been, or what are some of the biggest challenges in implementing a program like this? I'm sure there are hiccups and sort of logistical difficulties.
The biggest challenges are adults.
Tell us about that.
We walk into this situation where we think we have all the answers, and we don't. And we need to step aside and take a good look at what we're trying to do. We're trying to educate children. And children are part of that process. And we bring those children alongside us in that process, and the teachers become a different type of adult in the classroom. They become a mentor. And really, it's been about our teachers changing the mindset and being flexible in working with students with technology.
How have you managed to do that, to get teachers on board and ensure they're comfortable with the devices?
We force them. No, really. It's about professional development. We spend 2.5 hours each week in a professional development opportunity for all teachers, K-12. We went to our board a couple years ago and requested an early release day, and they've approved that. So 1 day a week we have early release. Our kids go home at 1 o'clock, and then for 2.5 hours we get in the room and begin to work as adults, teachers, and really understand what it is we need to know and do to support our kids in the classroom, to be great at our craft of educating.
So let's talk about teachers a little more, and with regards to challenges with the teaching workforce in general. I know that retention is a big challenge, not only in rural areas, but perhaps exacerbated there. Tell us about how you've worked to retain teachers and to recruit high-quality ones.
Well, first of all, our teachers that are here don't want to leave.
Okay.
Want to stay here. They don't want to teach anywhere else because they have a humongous amount of freedom in their classroom as educators. And number two, they see the power that we have given to the students and what's happening with learning. So teachers don't want to leave. But the flip side is when we do have a transition, the learning curve for a teacher coming into this environment is huge. I don't have a university near me that I know of, or have anybody coming in prepared to teach in this type of environment. So we really are bringing in new teachers, veteran teachers, and we have to retrain them in how to work with kids in this environment.
Where are most of your teachers coming from?
Mostly, well, we've had some from Hawaii that have come in to move here.
That's where I'm
We've
from.
had just most of our teachers locally within the Boise area.
Okay, so it's a lot of people who just want to give back to the community. It's not like you're recruiting from alternative certification programs or any of that.
Not yet.
Gotcha. And can you tell me a little bit about the professional development you do with the new teachers? I know you said it's hard to work in a rural district if you're not used to it. What are some of the qualities you try to encourage?
A lot of flexibility and the ability to really, when we hire someone, we want them to understand that they're going to have to sit and listen to other teachers for a while, and they're going to have to be able to change how they perceive education into our particular environment. And that really is done primarily by other teachers surrounding and mentoring that particular individual new teacher. Just like a new student would come into the classroom that has no idea about technology and how we use it in the classroom, those kids will surround that new student and they will be their partner and their mentor in the process getting on to level with the device and how we run our system here.
And you mentioned the word mentor a lot, and I know one of your goals is to kind of eliminate the word teacher and think of them more as mentors. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's we thought we knew what that was when we began our personalized mastery-based environment, but we really didn't understand it. The ability for a teacher to take the authoritarian approach and remove that from every part of the classroom has been a major challenge for teachers. Say you have a student that needs to complete an assignment, and the idea is not to tell the student, you have to have it done by tomorrow. Really, the idea is I need to come alongside that student, encourage that student, work with that student individually, so the student has the desire to get the assignment turned in tomorrow. We really want to focus on those soft skills for the student, so the student really can work at a level where they can manage impulsivity, to the ability to be perseverant to the situation, and to think about their thinking. So the processes that we take for those soft skills, we want those to be embedded into our students, and first our teachers need to understand those as well.
Do you think this emphasis on soft skills, it's probably a little bit new for them in a place where the focus is so much on agriculture? Is your goal for more kids to leave the area and sort of see other parts of the U.S.?
I would love every student here to have the opportunity to go be college and career ready, period, number one. And they can go and choose to do that wherever they want to. But what would be wonderful, these individuals that go experience, these students that go experience the world around them, and then bring that experience back to our community and really begin to change the internal working and platform of our community.
Gotcha. So does anyone have any questions in the audience? No? You guys aren't curious about school in Idaho? There we go.
I'm not hearing the question.
I can repeat it.
Okay.
My question was, you talked about how important technology is in rural education. Do you find that any of your students lack connectivity at home due to the restrictions to Wi-Fi access? And if that's the case, how does your school district overcome that?
So her question was about the emphasis on technology and whether a large percentage of your students lack access to the internet at home, and how do you sort of address that disconnect?
Okay, great question. Huge issue for us. 60% of our kids do not have access at home. So when we had the devices and they were arriving, I began to work with an opportunity for a grant through a local carrier. So that every one of our devices has connectivity data service provided for our students when they leave campus with the device to go home. So when they go home, they're connected. They drive to Seattle, they drive down to New Mexico or Texas. They're going to have connectivity when they go. So we made sure that that was a priority for our technology integration.
Anyone else? Right here.
How large is this school and how long? Has it always been Hispanic or is that new?
Okay, I can repeat the question. She asked how large is the school, and it's actually two schools. Yeah, the district. So how large is the district, and has it always been predominantly Hispanic, or how has it evolved, I guess, in the past few decades?
A little smaller than DCSP.
TCBS.
We have a total of 500 students K-12, so we're a small district. The community demographics have changed, but the rural agricultural setting is not. I believe it was in the 60s that this community began to change and the Hispanic population began to increase, probably in the 60s and 70s. is when that took place. And so it's been prevalent here since that time.
Has it changed a lot since you left maybe a little under 2 decades ago and then came back? Did it change a lot while you were away?
Absolutely not.
Well, that's both encouraging and discouraging at the same time. Anyone else? Great. One last question from me. What is one thing people in Washington misunderstand or get wrong about school districts like yours?
What's unique about our district is the ability for us to change quickly, like a small boat in the water. We can move quickly, and we can empower our students very quickly, and they can do amazing things. Don't underestimate the power of a rural school, and especially the rural schools across America. If we can put some time and effort into the rural schools like we have in urban settings, I think our return on investment would be phenomenal.
Right. Well, we'll pay more attention to that moving forward. It's underrepresented. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.